This is good news, guys. Good news, good news, good news. So let's start and kick off a loads of show to focus on AMD today. So welcome back. If those who are new on my channel, I'm sure folks who are in been following me, and you own AMD as well. We own AMD. We all AMD family. And so I'm just going to check live stream. So before I begin, if anybody's online, just tell me if you can hear me. If you can hear me, please tell me, or else I'll be speaking to myself again. I've done this many, many times before. So please do tell me if you can't hear me, but I'm sure it's right because I can see my microphone moving. So welcome. So AMD's earnings has been good. I was expecting to come in maybe like 20 minutes later, but the results are out. And I cannot deny it's looking good, but I am looking with a fresh pair of eyes as well. So I'm just going through Twitter just now. I'm going to show my Twitter screen. I am going through Twitter just now. As you can see, oops, sorry, maybe it's better here. I'm just going through my Twitter just now, see what folks are posting. So this is the revenue that I've been talking about: 5.9 versus 5 billion expected, EPS of 0.91 expected, and now boom, therefore 113. I've said again and again, the scarcity of semiconductor is in demand. I know people are trying to push it down. I know short sellers are coming in. I can see that it's dropped 40-50%. Hey, short sellers want to find, people want to take profit, fine, take profit. And great quality stocks are here to stay. So I'm just looking at the earning. Let me just refresh the screen to see where the change. Remember, this aftermarket hours can do a jump. Look, it was up about 4%. Now it's falling out. Maybe people taking profit. I'm not sure. But let's go through the slides after this. But before we go, let's recap on where we are. Just do a bit of recap on where we are on the earnings for quarter four. This is where we are. A nice hockey chart that we've seen. And Xilinx takeover or confirmation was on the 14th of February, which is like Valentine's Day. So this is before Q4, after Christmas, how well they're making. Net income is increasing, hockey stick curve. Gross margin has been going up and up and up, which I'm happy about. Operating expense, the more you spend, buyback, it's healthy. When profits increase, operating expenses have to increase in your business term. Growth looks like it's on a decline. Maybe during the COVID, it's got about 90% growth year on year, and it slows down a quarter because quarter three and quarter four are very, very strong. So if you can go anything above 40%, is great. Okay, this is where we are, but I am excited to look at what we have just now. Okay, what we have. So I'm not even going to look at the charts. I'm going to go straight to fresh pair of eyes into the report earnings. So we've got I think we've got a PDF. Let me just share. See if I can share my slide. Stop share screen. Okay, let me see if I can find the right window. Okay, that is. So I am looking with a fresh pair of eyes like you guys as well. So this just came out literally about 15 minutes ago, but guys on Twitter are really, really fast. So this came out. Let's go through one by one. I'm looking for a fresh pair of eyes and with you guys at the same time. So let's go through and digest independently. I think that's what we do. If you hold a stock yourself, you have to digest independently rather than read the headlines. Digest yourself, make notes, and then read the headlines. So I'm going to just prepare my piece of paper if there are any notes that I would like to be taking and see what it compares to what the streets are saying as well. So it goes there, big headline there, Xilinx acquisition creates industry high-performance adaptive computing leader. So I think that's a whole big deal. I think it was was it 45 billion from memory, Xilinx merge. So we've been waiting for almost 12 months, 14 months. Eventually it's happened. And I believe happened on the 12th of February, 14th of February, around about the Valentine's Day period. And where we are again, NVIDIA, many times I've stressed that it's no longer just a gaming chip. It's no longer just a video game product. It's no longer just a laptop. It's now data centers, advanced technology, leadership, software enablement, open source software. So remember, this wasn't much that's spoken before. And now they're going down the route of AI, software driven, data driven. They're going more like NVIDIA, and they're only a $150 billion company. So great. So our best ever product portfolio. So in AMD, they have surpassed their rivals. They have running past in terms of performance-wise, in terms of the PC performance, their data center performance. In terms of performance, they're rival with Intel for very, very many years, for decades. And now eventually they've surpassed in terms of performance. So data centers, clients, gaming, embedded chips, which Xilinx plays a big role. This is where the revenue growth will be growing. This is when the multiples grow again. I've stressed this many quarters, many times, and this is where we are today. Okay, and let's go down. So I really want to see the results. Okay, so record earnings, 5.9 billion, grew 71% year on year. The streets were expecting 5 billion. Okay, and now they grew 5.9 billion. And last year, Q1 last year, which was a great year, 3.4 billion, which I thought then was huge. Now they got 5.9 billion. That quarter gross margin 48%, which is up 2% year on year. And non-GAAP gross margin is 53. Let me check on where they were previously on my hyper charts. Gross margin was 50% last quarter. Now I have to go 53. Wow, that's impressive. Gross margin has gone up by 3%. It's very good. Operating income of 951 million, or 16% of the revenue. Let me just check where we were there before. Give me a second. So the operating expenses before last quarter was around about 1.23 billion, and now 951 million. Wait, let me see what operating expense I'm talking about here. No, 811, 900. So operating expenses has gone up as well, 951, which is good. Net income was $786 million, and last quarter the net income was 974. So it's dropped a bit on the net income, mainly due to high operating expenses, and record operating cash of 984 million. So AMD financial result excluding Xilinx or revenue of 5.3 billion. So that means it shows that Xilinx was around about the 0.6 billion mark. Maybe they're still consolidating. And also a huge repurchase stock of 1.9 billion. 8.9 billion remaining authorization. So I think they will go on a $10 billion buyback. So which is good, which is ongoing. So computing graphics, record revenue, 2.8 billion. Okay. I'm just referring back to my notes here. Average selling price, richer mix of Ryzen processor sale, GPU up year on year, high-end Radeon processor sales down quarter due to low mix of data centers. So there's a bit of a setback for the GPUs. Record operating income of 723 million, or 26% of revenue. Okay, so strategic announced Ryzen 7 desktop CPU with the launch of the mobile processor, which is for your laptops, and Ryzen Threader Pro X series and launch. So it seems that everything what they've said in the last 2 quarters has been on target. The launch date has been on spot on, and they are selling, they're generating revenue. So factory-wise from Taiwan Semiconductor to strategic release has been smooth. There's nothing wrong. There's no hiccup. There's no excuses of what's happened, or no excuses on a delay due to logistic concern. So everything according to plan. Nothing too optimistic. Everything spot on target. Record revenue 2.5 billion, which is the enterprise and semi-custom segment, up 88% year on year. Record operating income 881. And oh yeah, this is the one. This is strategic news and highlight. Announcement of the plan to acquire Pensando for approximately 1.9 billion to drive data center solution capabilities. So we're always talking about Xilinx, but we forgot that Pensando was announced about 8 weeks ago. And this 1.9 billion cheap, a small company. And in fact, some folks were saying Pensando was the next hypergrowth stocks, and then here you go AMD buying them out straight away before they even grow bigger. 1.9 billion is around about the same price when Disney bought Marvel, about $1 billion, or was it Star Wars Studios. Hyperscaler continue to expand internally. Cloud instance also launched from Alibaba, Amazon, Microsoft Azure, Google, and everyone else. AMD EPYC processor. This one was announced in Q2 last year, and they are rolling out really strong. Announcement of third generation AMD EPYC processor with AMD 3D V-Cache technology. So they're moving up the rank. They are trying to revise their products now, and it's moving. So their cycle, they don't have to wait for long. They're upgrading the cycle as with the software, as it's embedded as you go along. Semi-custom sales driven strong by strong demand of Sony and Microsoft games, especially the Valve Steam Deck, which was driven by AMD. And reviewers, good tech reviewers has been really hyped about the Valve Steam Deck, but I don't know if it's for everyone, as it's not the likes of Nintendo handheld device. It's a bit more specialist type operation. So here you go. This is the big piece. A bit more about Xilinx this quarter. Acquisition closed on the 14th of February, so around about Valentine's Day. Xilinx add multiple high margin, long-term revenue stream spanning new sets of market for AMD. New sets of market for AMD. So we know AMD is growing, but now we've got Xilinx in the ranks for their embedded devices, generated 559 billion of revenue for the 6 weeks of Q1 2022. Just 6 weeks. Boom, 600 million. Here you go. That's what's boost from that 5 million, which I think the streets was capturing. They didn't realize that Xilinx was also producing, and now it boosts to 5.9 billion. Great, great. Very, very bullish. I'm so glad I held on it. And strong demand across Xilinx and market. So I'm going to digest this a bit further after things. So revenue trends moving up 71% year on year, significant revenue growth. You can see that hockey chart. If you are, we all fundamentalists, we all pick stocks, but one thing that we need to do is pick the right business. And then hockey chart type trend is what we want. And yes, it is still in tech. I've been sharing AMD videos for the last 2 years, and it's still going up, and I like it. That's why the high conviction comes into play, guys. Okay, gross margin trend. Okay, I spoke about it just now. EPS, earnings per share. So it looks like this is the gap. GAAP one is around about 0.56, 24% year on year. But if we go to the non-gap one, this is what the streets are interested in, what we look at. Strong trajectory is 1.13x. Remember, the expected was about 0.9, 0.92, and now we've hit 1.13. Maybe the streets missed out the Xilinx sales revenue, which is good. It's good on paper, but let me check the future, see whether anything has changed. Maybe I've missed out some news. No, the future's up 4.1% just now, guys. 4.1%. Okay. Okay, let's move on. Q1 summary P&L gap quarter. So look, it's 5.9 billion that we've mentioned. Gross profit is almost clearly double from last year on year. Gross margin is getting higher, so the revenue, net profit is getting stronger. Operating expenses obviously is rising because you're buying shares, you're buying Xilinx, you're buying Pensando. You have to spend. If you don't spend, you don't grow, which is healthy for a business case. Okay, this is for the GAAP, and the non-GAAP ones is this one, earnings per share 1.1, operating margin of 31%. So I'm just looking at the net income. Yes, so the GAAP one, the non-GAAP one has got a higher net income customized in. Okay, so this is the results without Xilinx. So if without Xilinx alone, remember Xilinx was only what 6 weeks, which they mentioned, which they brought in about 600 million. So imagine if they had a whole 12 weeks to capture. What would that be? It would be over 6 billion, and it's still growing. So without Xilinx, doing well, operating margin was 30%. And then here you go. I mean, we can go into the detail, but I really want to see the detail of the breakdown for data center, which I don't think they've shown much. So Q1 summary, guys, this Q1 summary, record revenue 5.9 billion. This is the highest they've ever seen, and it's only quarter 2. What's going to happen in quarter 3? What's going to happen in quarter 4? Let's chill out a bit. Don't get too excited. Gross margin 48%, which have to improve. Record non-GAAP profitability. Repurchase stock of 1.9 billion common stock. I think there's another 8.1 billion to buy. Completed acquisition of Xilinx. If Nvidia bought an ARM, we'll be on the same boat. But I'm glad that one of the two companies have done their completed acquisition. So which is good. And corporate responsibility, all that stuff that you see on paper. So there's nothing else besides the appendices. Basic diluted share. So there's nothing else that's significant. But one thing that I want to show that they never speak much is the software enablement. So previously they're talking about IP, advanced technology, data center, but this time they're showing us software enablement. But it's open source software, so they're not showing any generated revenue. Maybe they're just adding value into the products they have with their software. They're trying to go like the Nvidia route, more AI. Perhaps they're trying to expand the AI quarters, but no. Company is still not as big as Nvidia, not as a footprint big as Nvidia, but I think they are focusing on data center, but also I think the background for research and software that is an incoming play. Okay, so I'm going to stop my screen. Okay, if you want that script, you can check it on AMD Investors Relation. It's good. So overall, I am happy. I am a happy man. I was honestly, guys, I was at the point thinking, maybe should I sell my AMD before the earnings, because sentiment in the market is bad. Regardless what happened, it seems that everything's falling. You can be breaking records, it's falling. So it's not going to show me this jump, but at the moment it's showing me 3% after hours. Who knows, tomorrow it might be minus 3%. The market is just ultimately volatile. But if you are long-term investors, if you have investors in conviction, especially if you guys have followed me, you've also convicted like me, I think I'll be holding. But again, the market is on a different beast just now. You know, the market is trying to choke everybody out. Okay. So if you look at the stocks, okay, we were as high as 150. Okay. We were 150, 160. Okay. Now we have dropped 43%. What is the excuse for that? The market is high, people are taking profit, and it's an easy short sellers coming in, and market cap is small, and it's under 100 US dollars or 150. It's an easy option put stock. It's an easy target. That's all I can say. Is easy target, easy profit taking, and lots of results from Intel are saying that, you know, we are not working much from home just now, so the laptop sales, any portable devices are declining. Maybe for AMD's case, because we're still short squeeze, we're still limited products, they're still doing well, they still maximize the sales. For how long, we don't know. For how long this goes on, but inflation has got a huge game to play here. So if inflation goes to a point where we call this terminology called the demand destruction, meaning if price goes up too much, if the price of your laptop or price of your gaming console goes up too much to a point where your household budget is impacted, it destructs. It's called demand destruction, where people just go, I'm not going to buy any more new phone, I'm not going to buy any laptop, I'm going to just live like this with whatever broken laptop I have. That's demand destruction when inflation goes through the roof, and that is a concern. If we go through that wave, that's where we see tech stocks falling. That's why there's a reason for AMD falling just now. For now, the demand is still strong, the growth is still strong, and quarter two, I don't expect much, but it is still doing well, so which is good. So congratulations to Lisa Su and the team. I'm just going to go to hypercharts to see whether they've extended, because I just like the hockey stick curve. So they have not updated it. I think they're updating in progress. So multiple revenue has dropped to 9. I think the last time we saw this about 15 and 18. It's dropped to 9 because it's dropped almost half its value. And with the profit, with the sales revenue, with the EPS going up, that multiple is going to even come down even lower. It's going to be even cheaper as it stands. So if you wake up tomorrow, new revenue data coming in, and the share price the same or lower, that multiple revenue or your P ratio will actually drop to make it even more appealing. It's like folks are saying, why are we not buying? It's cheap. That's what's going to go through many people's mind. Okay, so I am just looking at my trending view just now. As you can see, I've plotted a few plots. So I've noticed that if you go on the RSI, if RSI drops below 30, that's why I've left it there. Every time it drops below 30, it looks like it's bottom. Okay, bottom here around about the March period, and then it bounced back up, but then it came back down again. Bottom, it bounced back up. So the last time it bottomed here was around about 25th of January 2022, and guess what? It bounced back up, and unfortunately it didn't last very long, and it came back down. And now we've got again a bottom, stochastic's absolute bottom. So will we see a rebound? I think that's a question in everybody's mind. If we do expect a rebound, let me just lower this chart a bit. If we do see a rebound, the next level up we're talking about is a 100 mark. The 100 mark, if we see a rebound. So a lot of guys on Twitter, a lot of option traders are looking for a positive earnings, which they have, and now hopefully for a rebound to 100. Again, the market bearish sentiment is painful. It's trying to choke everybody up. It's giving everybody a mental game where it's whatever you think you're buying on the great fundamentals is going to fall. So who knows? It might go lower to 84. I wouldn't be surprised, despite the great fundamentals. It's going to be a difficult one. It's not one of those calls where we're just going to go, yes, it's a good stop, buy now. It's going to be a difficult one. Look, the stochastic has gone up to around about 82. Who knows that it might come back down again and just drop and test that level. So we have to be patient. We have to be long term. I know lots of people have been already taking profit, but if you're looking long term, this is the one to go. So it's at the moment as it stands, AMD is a far safer valuation to own compared to Nvidia. That's all I can say just now until Nvidia earnings comes out. So I can sleep with one eye closed now. I've got Nvidia I want to look forward to next time. So I'm just going to go and see what are the update news which I may have missed on Twitter, because folks on Twitter sometimes they share things a lot quicker. So there's nothing much. So Guru Gavin, he's got earnings here. No difference what we've discussed. Kaushik, follow him. He's great. He's always talking about AMD and Nvidia. We've got the same chain of thoughts every time. Record earnings, gross margin grew 2% point. See, he agrees with me. That is what we are focusing. Gross margin grew 2% point. Non-GAAP margin grew 7% year on year. So that's That's the special 2% is a lot. If Apple were to grow 1%, that's another additional of and if Apple grew 1%, that's additional 10 billion in revenue. But because obviously AMD is a far smaller company, 1% to them is around about like $1 billion. No, around about $500 million. No, not 500. Sorry, it's not 500. It's $10 million compared to Apple, whose revenue its stream is higher. So again, it's all good news. I cannot say anything else. So Ophir, he's saying that cloud server sales reported AMD embedded enterprise and semi-custom segment, which increased by 88%, which you've seen. That is the highlight. I think that's an increase, almost double, 88%. But I'm surprised nobody is speaking about Xilinx. Xilinx inclusion with only 6 weeks. So Srini Mehta, AMD rules expected for the earnings. We may see 97 tomorrow because he's an option trader. It may retrace back another entry to 100. Retrace back again. What does it mean by retrace? I thought retrace would say retrace go down, but it's retrace for another entry. So he's expecting to go up, come back down and go back up again. He's expecting a W. Yeah, so this is it. I have got nothing more to say, but I'm very, very bullish. I am happy with the earnings as an investor, not a trader, as an investor long term, as just a fanboy of Lisa Su as well. It's all good. I cannot I wasn't expecting this. Honestly, I wasn't expecting this at all. But hey, this is where we are. This is what we're doing here. AMD has been doing well, so it's all good. So all of you, again, I just want to rephrase, holding the stock long-term from the fundamentals is great. But it doesn't mean that this is going to be the driver forward. We're going to get another 30-40% up jump in the next few weeks. No, because the market itself is dead. Apple's great earnings, Microsoft great earnings. As you can see, they bounced back up and they came back down. So I think we're going to be living in a life like this until the Federal Reserve tells us what's going to be happening tomorrow with the FOMC meeting to see whether we're going to get 50 basis points, which is just the right level that we're looking for, or they're very passive, not as hawkish as they should be, 25%. Folks might not like it. Or if they go aggressive, 60%, 60% basis points, or 75, which is super aggressive, it might hurt the market a bit more. I think the market is marked in for about 60%. If they go 75%, very, very aggressive, just to tame the inflation, taking sacrifice of the stock market, taking its legs off, and we will see further decline. And the other thing we need to check out for, which is the 92 billion buyback of bonds. If they give us plans, we need to know, and that will really basically stop money printing. We are buying back, we are selling all the bonds which they bought throughout the time from the last two crises. And that might slow things even slower, but it depends what plans they give us to us so we can forecast the steps we need to take. Because at the end of the day, the Fed told us they're not going to raise interest rates till 2024. But guess what? In 2022, everything's collapsing. So a lot of things. So it's really not just AMD's earnings or Nvidia or Apple. I think it's a whole global market. But one thing that I would like to say is today in 2022, April, May, are we May now? May, we've got more silent cash compared to 2020 May, where we had the oil crash. Remember, oil went all the way to zero and minus 20 at some point. So the silent cash that we have now has got more. So rich people are actually a lot more richer now compared to 2020. I know we're looking for jobs, working class, middle class people are trying to find for jobs, but there's more silent cash. In terms of crypto, there's more silent stable coins compared to 2020 as well. So all I'm saying is don't expect a V-shaped rebound, but people will be waiting for the right opportunities when the risk of COVID in China, of the Federal Reserves or the EU, the Ukraine war, or potential recession on the radar. When it's all this risk down, folks will start drip feeding, buying back in. Because at the end of the day, the stocks is more appealing than bonds just now. Crypto is a bit more appealing than stocks. So there's a bit of a cascading effect. Housing, we're not too sure. People are still going to be buying housing because interest rates are going up. So folks may have already locked in. So there are lots of factors that you need to think of on where you need to stand with your investment thesis. As it stands, we are in a bear market. Regardless of how well AMD does, Nvidia does, or Adobe, or anybody does for the next few days, or Starbucks, despite the decline in China sales, we're still in a bear market. There's nothing we can do about it. Regardless of you telling me that Bitcoin will be 100,000, whatever we say, still a bear market until the risk from FOMC, or maybe perhaps we have to wait till I believe it's June before we get any more data to see real inflation decline. Okay, so this is me, And if anybody's got a question, just feel free to ask away. I just want to go back and say, hello, family EV Logs. How are you doing? Nice to come. Hello, M. Doro. Hello, Mobak. Hello, Adrian, Maxime, and Zibu. How are you guys doing? Thank you very much for this party. So it's not many people on, as I can say. My posting on YouTube is getting less and less because bear market. It's very hard to get anything out of the woodwork because everybody's hiding in the shell. Even myself, sometimes I'm just reading a lot. I'm reading a lot more than 9 months ago because you're reading through all the old books, reading through all the macroeconomics from the 1970s. So lots of discuss, lots of podcasts I'm listening to and things I'm doing. So wait until the storm clears, then we can do, because I still believe, I'm still putting a date on 31st of October. I think the market will recover. I'm not. The summer might be a write-off, but 31st of October, the market recover, and then we'll see what happens from there. Hopefully, the inflation is tame. Some believe the inflation is peaked, but we still need data. You need at least about 2 months data before you see that you're rolling off the top. But for now, we are here to stay with the bear. And if folks who can afford to buy. But folks who are wanting to invest, for me personally, I've not put a single capital, I've not put a single dollar into investing since the 1st of January. Okay, I've not put a single new dollar in since 1st of January. I've been just using whatever I use holding to buy because of the risk of where we are just now. If I put more in, I'm taking my savings in, it's just going to expose me even more. It's going to put me a lot of risk on. So this is where we think now. And I noticed Gov Naylor TV. Do we think it's gonna run the next couple of days? It's all gonna depend on tomorrow. In terms of technical indication, everything's bottom. Okay, in terms of technical indication, in terms of Facebook, Nvidia, Apple, Bitcoin, everything is flat bottom. It takes a really, really bad FMOC news tomorrow. If you rise interest rate aggressively, trying to tame inflation, they will push even lower. If FMOC comes and tells an aggressive interest rate rise with quantitative tightening at the same time, with offloading all the bonds aggressively just to tame it off, then we will see a even more dramatic market. But remember, the world not just is made of USA, it's also made in China, it's made of Japan. Japan and China are actually doing stimulus check to help inflation. So there was somebody on Twitter says, what if FMOC comes out tomorrow and starts dishing out checks to help up with inflation? I doubt that will happen, but if it does happen, the stock market will shoot through the roof. I doubt that will happen because I think China released about $2 trillion to help folks who's been in lockdown, who's trying to help with kids' education. It's trying to dish out money. Japan as well. They're just basically releasing deluge of cash out into the market, just pushing the debt up, trying to help the people around them. Who knows? Anything could happen tomorrow. But like BMAX says, I don't think inflation and Fed action still pushes the market down. I suppose so. I suppose the whole point of the Fed is supposed to save the day, but the market will react on their own accord. So you got a point there, BMAX. The market will will repel, agree or disagree on their own record. We've seen it many times back in 2015 and 16. The Feds were supposed to raise the interest rate 4 times, but there was a huge tantrum kicked off and they only raised it twice. So I was there. And it was a scary time as well. And here we go. So BME360, how are you doing? I've just joined your research Fergal. Hi, Alex. Just joined. Did your research Fergal innovate? Is that a question, BME365? Sorry, are you trying to tell us something? Just joined. Did your research Fergal innovation? No, you lost me there, Ben. You lost me. But hey, this is it. This is it. So Randy. Oh wait, I've got Chichi. AMD is an easy 5. Yep. Again, easy 5 to 10 year hold. And now I don't know if you hear Chichi. There was this bit about the embedded software. So the software part is expanding, the AI part is expanding. So I'm actually looking forward to that in the next 2, 3, 4 quarters to come. Okay, and then Randy, he's saying it's been a while. What's your thoughts on Nvidia these days? So in terms of comparison, AMD, Nvidia, AMD is very good valuation just now. The P ratio is lower. Now the valuation for the TTM will be lower, so it's closer to the ground. It's a good multiples of 10. Nvidia is still quite high, so Nvidia needs a huge record-breaking quarter. And as you can see on AMD, is really supported by Xilinx, even though to 6 weeks of trading. Xilinx actually helped the revenue generator. NVIDIA never really had that buyout from ARM, but again, they've got that cash share buyback. So NVIDIA is a bit on the risk for a dump. But again, NVIDIA is a far more superior company, dropped almost 60%. NVIDIA is far more superior in terms of technology compared to AMD. But who knows? Anything can happen, but this is positive for NVIDIA. So I am also positive, but we have to watch and learn. Okay, again, NVIDIA, if they do well, it's a $1 trillion company. At the moment, they're sitting about 500 billion just now. Okay. Amdor, I thought you sold AMD holding a couple of months. What's your plan? Oh, so I think there's a misconception. The last time I released that AMD video, which I sold everything, it was an April Fool's jokes. I don't think many people, maybe people who watch it late, but there was an April Fool's joke. But when I look back now, I wish I actually sold AMD because at that time it was about $125 or something. So I look like a fool now. I'm still holding AMD. I did sell a bit of NVIDIA. I did take a risk off, sell some NVIDIA because of the, like I said, experienced valuation, but I still hold NVIDIA. AMD, I've not sold a single one. And what's your plan after this result? So I'm holding, I'm comfortable holding. If I want to take money off because of the Fed's FOMC tomorrow, I will sell my NVIDIA first because earnings still quite a while away. And it's all that risk reward cycle. So at the moment, with the earnings of data, I have AMD, I'll hold AMD, NVIDIA. If I need to really take more cash back on the table, I will release my NVIDIA stocks. That's where I would be. That's where I've placed. That's what I've discussed with my wife. That's the plan forward. Yep. BNB365, I left a comment asking if you're going to research frugal innovations such as, oh, yes, I remember that. I've not done my research, obviously. Yes, you did ask the question of reusable microchip. You're right. I've been to, oil and gas offshore platform, and there are loads of chips. They're all being dished out at the corner, all this, your Pentium 2, Pentium 3 processors all left a bunch of sites. So I think BNB365 is saying that there's a niche for recyclable semiconductor. I think you're right. I've not looked at that. I'll put my hand out. I've not looked at that. Something that we need to look into. Okay, good. Do you do cover calls while holding AMD? Tan Puncher, a great question. The problem with me, my AMD is all on, I'm based in the UK and I hold it on my ISA. And there's no option trading on my ISA. I hold a lot of AMD, but I cannot do covered calls because it's on an ISA account. It's not on an option trading enabled account. It's only all this US broker. So I cannot do option covered calls, or else I'll be doing it every single month. So that's a problem. But perhaps I may need to open a new account to option trader call. But again, if I keep doing it, it's going to be the tax implication is going to be high. So that's why I'm not doing that just now. But you're right. That is what I should do. But trying to be tax efficient, I cannot do it. What do you think about Intel catching up? One of the key drivers behind AMD is Intel underperformance. That's my only concern. Actually, it comes to this point in 2022. I know I made fun of Intel back about 18 months ago. I think it's good if Intel comes into the game. TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor, are helping Intel with the 2mm and 3mm lower, smaller chip. So I think Intel needs to be here. Intel, AMD, NVIDIA, Qualcomm, everybody needs to play a role to try to cool down the scarcity, the demand. So the more that we can supply to the world, the more that consumers can take it in, the more that it helps generate revenue for research, for improvements, faster Alexa, or, I've heard that kettles now need semiconductor to run the embedded chip, things like that's happening with Samsung. So the more players come into the market, the more we advance, the more we break through 5G. And now I don't even think 6G is coming ahead. I think we might go straight to satellite because Amazon and Elon Musk are trying to put satellites in space, straight internet down. Technology will help reduce the cost of inflation. Technology improvement will help inflation, makes things even cheaper and better. So I think Intel, hopefully, I do hope that their fabrication yard in the next 2-3 years do well, and that will help with every competition. Healthy competition is good, but we do not want. I personally didn't want to see Intel disappear, even though I made fun of them. But I still want to see them, in the whole ecosystem together. It's not easy to build a fabrication. It's not easy to have an IP of what you have for the last 30 years. So Intel is a healthy competition. Okay. Yes, Zebu, I think you're right. Alex, have you came across any news NVIDIA and increasing the number of shares? NVIDIA has announced increasing of shares from 4 million to 8 million, like double. So folks are saying, is that a stock split of 2-1? I'm still not sure what's happening with that one. I still don't understand that. I suspect it's a stock split, but why would they want to do a 2-to-1 share stock split? So they're waiting for the vote. No news yet since for the last 3 weeks. So it's something we need to watch and learn. But why would they want to do a stock split? But then again, Tesla did a stock split as well. So no surprise there. Okay. So MD, no problem, pal. No problem. Thank you very much. I appreciate dedication. No problem. This is one of my baby stocks that I hold, and I really believe that this is one that will bring a lot of people great multiples. At the current situation market, it looks like my 2025 retirement might have to be pushed back. But then again, bear market, take the opportunities if you can buy. But if the risk is too much, it's playing with a mental game. Take a step back, take risk off the table, just watch, but don't leave the game. Okay. All I can say is I've been here investing for 10, 12, 14 years, maybe if I really count my passive back in 2007, 2008. I don't see many bear markets. I see a lot of bull runs. I don't see many bear markets. Bear markets are very rare. So bear markets, things like this, is something that's not just build characters, not just build personality. It builds you buying your conviction lower, helps you consolidate your stocks portfolio even lower. So take advantage of the bear market. When everything goes away, when post-COVID goes away, when this all go back to normal, we're going back on a normal market route again, where we don't see super jumps, we see 7 to 12% growth in S&P 500. You will miss bear markets like this. So take advantage, learn, feel it, control the mental game. It's something that we just have to pursue, but it's part of growing. Like I said, in the bull market, everybody is a hero. In the bull market, every trader is a winner. But in a bear market, many people leave. The ones that stay are the ones that will be a real long-term investors. Okay, I'm sure Warren Buffett has seen a lot of bear market, and he can set up a stage speaking about every single one of them. So take advantage, learn. This is way better than any MBA course that you'll be paying for. You'll not learn any of this in books. You have to experience it, immerse yourself, and this is where we are just now. Okay, so Randy, thoughts on crypto, Luna, Quan, but I don't know about Quan, but Luna, I think that it will drop to 75, 70 from my last charting, and it bounce or not bounce, we're not sure, but sideways market is where I am expecting for it to come. Again, crypto is a whole different ball game. Crypto 32,000, or they call it the catapultation, might happen. I am very fearful of that because I've got a lot of money locked on crypto as well. I'm very fearful if crypto drops to the $30,000 zone. There's something we're watching very closely. But again, crypto looks like they're going to bounce. Again, FMOC meeting tomorrow will tell us what's going to happen. So we will have to wait until tomorrow. So good. Last one. Have you heard Boris saying ARM will be fast tracked to FTSE 100? And do you think they'll come to LSE? And if they list on NASDAQ, will it be valued too high? I hope ARM will be listed in New York Stock Exchange. The valuation will be far better. They'll get better investment. If they list on FTSE 100, high profile company, FTSE 100, you don't get the valuation that you need. Look at Darktrace. Great global class world company, but they should have been listed on New York Stock Exchange to be worth more than they are today. And they could have grown faster. So let's see. Boris can say anything he wants, but remember, ARM was in FTSE 100 before. Okay, ARM was there, $40 per share before they left. And why did they sell it to folks during Brexit? I asked the question, nobody gave me an answer. Okay, so bears are cuddly. Yes, I agree with you. Bears are cuddly. Is it a bear market if PE ratio is still yeah? So after this bear market, we go back to normality. I think multiples and ratio should go back to the norm, where we should stick to the norm. But a 10x10 zone, PE 10 is healthy. Anything below that is dividend paying. Anything above 12, anything above PE 20 will be growth stocks. Anything above 50 is crazy. Okay, so we're not going to live in the year 2020 and 2021 where we can accept a multiple of 100. I think after this, we have to dial down our tone. Again, I do not want folks to expect after October, we're going to have another 20, 30, 40% gain every other week. No, we're going to be dialed down to back to normality with the 7 to 12% gain in the stock market. So that's what I want folks to understand. Okay, so time to load up both AMD and yeah, that's true. Diversification is something I try to avoid speaking, something I'm still trying to go through my head. But Berkshire Hathaway, if things goes really bad, I might have to move to Berkshire Hathaway. But for now, for now, I'm happy holding AMD. I'm just going to watch what Nvidia does. And Chichi saying that Lisa will pivot AMD towards other ventures. Agree. Outside semiconductor space, I am predicting AMD has a serious mode. Yes, agree. So much more mode, especially on the software space. And now I don't know. It's the world is such an expensive place. I agree with you, Chichi. I'm excited. I'm excited investing in AMD as much as your comment there as well. Okay, so I think this is me. It's 10 o'clock. That's for me, and I hope you guys have a good time off as well. And yeah, long time no videos. I've been off a week. Yeah, no videos because I'm trying to figure out the market. I've been sitting there reading a lot. Like I said, I'm trying to figure out the market, but it's no point coming on trying to say what I think because the market is just super volatile. And until FMOC tomorrow, we have a clearer vision, and hopefully we can discuss about a strategy forward on what we can do. But what I want to say, Fang is dead. Fang is dead because Facebook and Netflix is gone. Now we've got MAGA, or some people call it manga. Maga. MAN for me is manga. I call it manga. So manga is for M for Microsoft, A for Apple, N for Nvidia, G for Google, and A for AMD. Not Amazon, AMD. I think Amazon has turned into a value stock for me. Okay, so this is me. Hopefully after the FMOC meeting, we can digest a bit more on the way forward. For now, market has got no sense of direction. Hence my hesitant to share. But again, I'm huge on crypto as well. Even on crypto, guys, if you realize I speak about crypto a lot on my Discord channel, but I don't do much videos because it's a very sensitive topic. I can speak about a crypto today, but I can change my mind about it the next week because crypto is so volatile that you can invest it in 1 week and you can exit in later the other week. So I do not want to mislead people. A lot of cryptos, I can write a whole book of 100 crypto failures today and one or two that's done well. But if I do release a video, people convert to it and then people don't exit as soon as I do because I can buy one crypto and I can sell it in 36 hours. That's how fast I can swing and farm because it's so unreliable sometimes. So that's why I don't speak about crypto as much on my video, but I hope to try to get more people on board to do more interview faces type. Okay, thank you, Randy. Give that man some likes. I do appreciate it. And yeah, hopefully to speak to you guys again soon. But again, I am super active on Twitter. Okay, I'm not promoting myself on Twitter, but I am super active. I post lots of stuff. I think I've grown a community on Twitter by accident in the last few days. I think it's more crypto oriented. I speak about stocks. So I've got a group of people, community of experts that I talk to front and back. So I get lots of information on Twitter. So follow me on Twitter, and hopefully that's where the first protocol and also the Discord channel as well. That's where I share. So I'll try my very best to come more on live, try my very best more on more videos, and hope to see you guys soon. Okay, guys, thank you. Take care, and see you soon. Okay, thank you. Bye. Bye. And broadcast now.